Hey everyone, thank you for watching. Today's video I'm excited to do. It's going to be a chatty get ready with me. I'm going to be using the products that I've pulled for my April Shop My Stash. So that video went up yesterday, my March recap from my Shop My Stash, and also the new products that I chose out for April. And that is what I'm using today to achieve this look right here. So let me go ahead and get started. Okay, so I have everything in this bag here, and I just always keep it off to the side of my desk while I'm doing these. So I'm just going to start off with my face. I know the Urban Decay palette doesn't give me a ton of fallout, and I'm probably going to do something a little bit more on the simple side, so I'm just going to start off with my face. I chose out the primer from Touch and Soul. This is the No Problem Priming Water, and I really quite like this. I mentioned this recently in a Makeup Monthly video, so I just put a little bit onto my hand here, and then I'm just going to go ahead and work that into my skin. For my foundation, I chose out this one from Urban Decay. This is the Naked Skin One and Done Hybrid Complexion Perfector. I'm going to try out the shade Medium Light and see how I like it. I do use a brush typically with this product, so I'm using the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. So I'm just going to do a couple pumps on here. I also have the shade Medium in case I would need to mix it, but I'm just going to see how this goes first. I really got on with this product for quite some time though. It's more lightweight. It's supposed to be kind of like a lighter coverage foundation, almost like a BB cream, but a little bit more and like a little bit less than a foundation, like kind of that in between. And I especially can remember wearing it a ton in the summer because it was more lightweight. I think the shade match looks pretty good, and again, feels just like I remember it, really nice and lightweight. It doesn't cover up absolutely everything, like I have a blemish right here, but I did grab out a more full coverage concealer also from Urban Decay, so I'll use that for my under eyes and then to cover up any areas, problems, issues I have. So concealer, like I said, is from Urban Decay. This is the All Nighter Waterproof Full Coverage Concealer. I have the shade Light Neutral. Again, it was just one of those products that I wasn't reaching for a ton. It is more full coverage, which I do like, but I remember it being just a little bit more on the heavier side and also a little bit more dry, so it's a little bit tougher to blend out. I remember I still really liked the coverage because I do like full coverage concealers, but it wasn't my favorite. It didn't, like, I still enjoyed the Naked Skin more than this one, but I do remember quite liking it. Using another Real Techniques brush. This is the Deluxe Crease brush. I'm just gonna go ahead and blend that out, and then also blend it out on my eyelids to kind of act as my eyelid primer. So as I'm blending it out, I feel like it's blending out easier than I remember it being in the past, because I feel like that's really quick, and I feel like my under eyes just immediately look a lot better. I really do enjoy the coverage on this. Like I feel like that's a pretty big difference between my eyes, so that's pretty good. Welcome to April. How is your month going so far? What's the date when this one goes up? The 5th. We've already made it to the 5th of April. Oh boy. Our April, let's see. I feel like we are not having a great start of the month. I don't know, man. I feel like April's gonna be pretty interesting. This is the month where we are going to close on our house that we're in now. I'm still in this house, still filming in this house. We don't have internet yet at the new house. We don't have like our bed there or anything like that. We are just kind of slowly moving to the new city because we had about a month in between closing on that home and when our house is closed on. I feel like my under eyes look really good right now. I'm really quite happy with that. So I'm just gonna put the concealer on a few of those red areas on my face also. But yeah, April, I don't know, April's been kind of an interesting month. We learned what we owe in taxes, which was a tough pill to swallow. You know, 2018 was just a really different year for us. I feel like I've had a pretty good handle on our taxes, even all these years that I've been self-employed. I've had a pretty good handle on them and, you know, what we can expect and everything. But with 2018 was just weird, you know, with Mitch losing his job. I chose out this one here from Colourpop. It's the No Filter Sheer Pressed Powder in Light. So I'm just going to take another Real Techniques brush. This is the 402 setting brush, and I'm just going to lightly set the under eyes here. But I don't know, yeah. So there was just a lot of different changes going on, and then we had to get health insurance through what's called like the marketplace or something like that. In America, if you do not have health insurance, you get fined. You have to pay a penalty on your taxes. So we didn't want to not have health insurance when we lost health insurance through Mitch's previous job. So we went through the marketplace for health insurance until he started his new job and was able to get health insurance through there. And we owe thousands and thousands of dollars because of that. I think it actually would have been cheaper for us to pay the penalty than it would have to have absolute crap health insurance for the 6 months that we did, because I did go to the doctor on that health insurance and it really did absolutely nothing. So I paid a lot for health insurance that didn't really do anything, and now I'm paying thousands of dollars because of that. I don't know. I don't understand it at all. I don't know what happened. I had talked to our accountant about it and she said, you know, she recommends getting the health insurance versus paying the penalty, and I'm like, it would have been cheaper to pay the penalty. So I don't really understand what happened there, but there's that. And then of course, you know, you do have to pay self-employment taxes, and you know, when it comes to being self-employed, like there's a lot of good things about it, but you do have to try to pay in estimate taxes, because I'm not getting taxed. You know, I get paid from YouTube or from Google, but they don't tax me. I get paid from Amazon for my book royalties, but they do not tax me. Like when you get a regular paycheck and you get a W-2 at the end of the year, you get taxes taken out. That doesn't happen when you're self-employed, so you have to try to pay in estimate quarterly taxes to try to make up for that, because you still gotta pay them. For my contour, I'm taking the MAC Sculpt and Shape contour palette, and this one is one of my favorite contour shades. I'm using the Sigma F04 brush to contour. So I have always paid in estimate taxes for as long as I have been self-employed, and even before I was fully self-employed and I was still gaining an income outside of my regular job at the hospital, I was still paying in estimate taxes to try to, you know, make up for not being taxed on like my books and such. And I've always done a pretty good job at that, but I didn't do as great of a job this year. I did put out 2 books in 2018 versus I normally only put out 1 book, and my books were really well received, which is so awesome. But even though I did try to amp up what I was paying in quarterly, I still should have amped it up even more. So between that, between Mitch losing his job, between the health insurance, we owe a whole lot of money. So I'm still trying to figure out how to pay that, because we also just found this out, so we only have 2 weeks to come up with a game plan to pay this huge bill, and so I'm kind of like stressed out about it. So yeah, hopefully I do a better job in 2019 working on it. And you know, luckily we won't have the health insurance thing to deal with this year, because that's honestly a huge part of this. And then, you know, of course we aren't dealing with unemployment, and we have, you know, Mitch has his W-2 that he has figured out now, and just hopefully it'll be better this year. But we kind of got hit with that just not too long ago, and it was kind of like, oh, okay, like, alrighty. Bronzer, I'm taking the Becca bronzer in Capri Coast with my Sigma F30. And then my car broke down the other day, and I've been having like on and off issues with my car. My car is older, and it's been really reliable up until like the past few months here. I've had like little issues with it here and there, but it was so crazy because it was the last Friday. I was getting ready to leave to go to my girlfriend's wedding rehearsal dinner, because I was helping out with, you know, various parts of the wedding, so I needed to be at the rehearsal. I'm getting ready to leave, and I walk out into the garage, and I'm like, first of all, I'm like, what is that smell? And then I'm like, why is there so much liquid in the garage? It had been raining, but the garage wasn't open. And I was like, how did all this rain get into the garage? And then I opened up the door so I could see it, and there was just a giant puddle of like murky brown liquid under my car. And I'm like, oh no. And I take a picture and I send it to my husband, who's still out of town working. And I'm like, is my car leaking oil? And I'm like, well, I don't know what to do. I need to get going, and the rehearsal is an hour away. Like I have to leave, I have to get going. So I get in the car and I start to drive, and Mitch calls me and he's talking to me and he's asking me questions and he's asking how the car's running. And as I'm talking to him, I'm like, my heat's not working, because it was chillier that day. He's saying to look at the temperature gauge and what's going on there, and I was like, no, it's in the middle, like everything looks, you know, fine there. I'm driving along and I'm on the interstate and I'm looking at the temperature gauge like Mitch is telling me to, because he's like, I don't know if it would be oil, like maybe you're leaking antifreeze, your car could overheat. But he's like, but if your temperature gauge is normal, like, you know, maybe that's not it. And as he's saying this, I'm watching the temperature gauge, and all of a sudden I just see the dial go from like the middle of the cold and the hot to zoom up to hot, and I was like, my car's overheating, like what do I do? I'm on the interstate, oh my gosh. I start to like panic, and he's like, calm down, just calm down, it'll be okay, you just need to pull over. Like, are you by a gas station? Where are you by? What can you do? Luckily I was really close to my friend's place. My best friend Shannon, I luckily was at the exit for her house, and I knew she was already out of town at the rehearsal, but I called her husband Matt, and I'm like, what are you doing? Can I come over? My car's overheating. Can I borrow your car to go out of town? Like, I was just like a disaster. I was such a hot mess. And luckily he was home, and I was able to make it to his place and get his car so I could go to the rehearsal. But as I pull up to his place, he's outside waiting for me, and my car is just smoking. He's like, that does not look good. I'm like, I can't even believe it was only a few blocks, but I'm like, I can't believe I made it here. I was so just like stressed and frazzled, and I'm so happy my car didn't like shut off in the middle of the interstate, because can you even imagine? That would have been so scary. Unfortunately, I did have to get my car fixed. We had to take it in and get it checked out and see what was wrong with it. For my blush, I picked out another Becca product. This is the mineral blush in Flowerchild. I'm gonna apply that with my Morphe E4. So yeah, we had to get it fixed, and that was actually a really expensive bill, and the bill was pretty much like half of what my car is probably worth. So it was kind of like, do we pay this, or do we just give up on the car? Like, it was kind of one of those situations, but I don't think that I'm not ready to buy a car right now, and especially with the house, and technically at this moment we do have 2 mortgages out there because our house is not closed on yet. So I don't even know, like, I doubt we would be even able to get a car loan at this moment. So we really just had to pay it because, you know, I'm not gonna be able to get a car at least until like another month here. So, and my car was not drivable in the condition that it was because it was smoking. Like, I followed Mitch home from our friend's house that night, and my car was smoking almost the entire time. So like, it's just not even safe to be in. So we had to get it fixed, and I was like, okay, April, like, you are not starting off great. Let's try to turn things around here. Let's try to stay positive, stay calm, stay positive. But yeah, that's kind of how my April is starting. How is your April kicking off? And I hope, like, tell me some good stories, tell me some good things. Okay, I zoomed in a little bit closer because I'm gonna switch over to the eyes. I grabbed out the Urban Decay Naked Cherry palette, and I just really wanted to play with this one. I was helping out with some wedding makeup over the weekend, and one of the girls had this palette, and I helped her out with her eye makeup, and I thought that the look was really pretty, and I think that she liked it too. So it's just kind of been on my mind. So first I'm just gonna go ahead and set the lid with a little of Hot Spot and the Moda Metallics Super Crease. But yeah, I would love to hear if you guys have some good stories going on for April. I mean, definitely it's not all been bad. Hopefully that wasn't like too negative, but that's just kind of been, like, if we're talking about like how my month has started, it's not been great. But, you know, my friend got married. It was a really beautiful wedding. I had a lot of fun helping out with her big day and just kind of seeing all the behind the scenes of it and everything. So that was super fun, and I'm still really looking forward to the move. I did do a little bit of vlogging, like the day that we actually closed on the house. I vlogged a little bit. I kind of shared a little bit inside the house, and you know, what my offices are gonna look like and all of that. So I don't know for sure when the vlog will go up, because since that day I really haven't done anything, because like I said, we're just kind of like slowly moving, so I don't have a whole lot else yet for the vlog. So it might be like really spread out date wise in there, but if I were to post it now, it literally would be like 2 minutes long. So I'm gonna try to wait and maybe, you know, try to show like some of the packing process in here and then unpacking over there and just kind of getting everything set up and together and all of that. But I have started that process, so I thought I would let you guys know. I'm gonna come in with a little bit of feels, and I'm just gonna use the brush that came in the palette, and that's gonna be kind of my first transition crease color here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and blend it in. So the bridesmaid whose makeup I did, when she handed this to me, she said she wanted a smoky eye, so that's kind of like what I was going for. So I also went in with Devilish. If I didn't say, I'm just kind of recreating the look that I did on her because I thought it was really pretty. So I'm grabbing some of Devilish with the Sigma E44. I'm gonna pack this on the outer part of my eye. And I did want to do something like a little bit smokier on her, but I didn't want to do anything like too dramatic. And so I started off pretty light-handed, and we built it up a little bit. And then she said she was good with it, because I didn't want it to be like too, you know, crazy or intense as a bridesmaid look. But I still thought it looked really pretty, and I was super nervous. That was the first time I was really doing makeup on someone else. I mean, I put makeup on myself almost every single day, but I'm not a makeup artist. I've never done makeup like that. So when she was like, oh, I heard you do makeup, like, would you be able to help me? And I'm like, just throwing it out there, I don't actually do makeup on other people. Like, I just do it on myself for fun. And she was like, that's okay. She's like, I just, you know, I do the same thing every single day. It'll be fun to switch it up and such. So I was like, okay. I actually get to do makeup again this following weekend. So it'll be tomorrow as this video goes up. One of Mitch's cousins has prom and she lives near us now. And she had asked me if I would do her makeup. And it was funny when she texted me and asked, I was like, full disclaimer, I've never done makeup on someone, so at least I had like a little bit of practice, I guess. So I'm gonna veer off just slightly from what I did with her because I put Ambitious on as the shimmer shade. I actually want to come into Young Love. I'm gonna spray my brush with a little Fix Plus. This is the Sigma E56 and come into Young Love and place this on the lid. Ooh, yeah, I think, okay, yeah. Good call, good call. Okay. So yeah, so I mean, that's, you know, that's really exciting. I'm super pumped about that. So sometimes it stinks and I feel like it's really easy to not necessarily like, I don't want to make it say like complaining, but just kind of like sharing struggles. And a lot of times I try to make them funny. Like if I'm ever on my Instagram stories and I'm telling like kind of a bummer story, I try to put on that funny Snapchat filter that makes your voice funny and like your teeth really big and stuff, just to make it seem like, okay, like, yeah, this sucks, but I understand it's not the end of the world and there can be humor in it. Or like if I'm saying something on Twitter, I'll try to put in like a funny GIF or, you know, something like that, because it's like, you know, yeah, I'm still bummed about this, but at the same time, I know that it'll pass and, you know, it's all good. So kind of struggling a little bit right now with a few things that just kind of all seem to come at one time, but there's definitely, you know, some good things happening in there too. So you just kind of got to try to keep focusing on the positive, that's for sure. I've also been kind of struggling with my mental health once again, and I've been thinking about making kind of like a full video on this, just because I saw Sam Ravindal recently posted a video and it really kind of inspired me because it came at such a good time, because I struggle with depression and I've been pretty open about that on my channel, and I feel like I've had a really good handle on it for like quite a few months, and then all of a sudden it's like for no reason, it's just like bam, it hits you. And I'll cry like 7 times a day and I don't understand why I'm crying and I can't figure out why I'm sad, and I'm like, what's going on? And this was happening even before, you know, some of these situations that I've been talking about. It happened even before they were occurring. So I'm like, what is going on? And I felt like so many things she was saying, like I was watching her video like, yes, me too. And I tried to remember that, because one thing that YouTube has taught me is that I have felt alone with my mental health struggles for a very long time. And when I started to open up about them on YouTube, and then I would have people who watch my videos open up to me as well, whether it be in the comment section or email or a personal message, it helped me not feel so alone. And so this whole time I'm once again kind of going back into this bubble of like, no one will understand, or like no one gets it, or and such. And then I watched Samantha's video and I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel the same way. So I'm like, why would I not, you know, it kind of really motivated me. So I put it on my schedule to have, you know, just kind of one of those chatty videos where I can maybe go a little bit more in depth about it. So I don't know, I was kind of thinking about that, but it also kind of freaks me out because a lot of times when I have talked about certain situations on YouTube, I have already been able to move past them. I've been able to get a handle on what's happening with my emotions and my mental health, and then I'm kind of telling you the story that it's already passed, and maybe this is how I got past it, and this is how I, you know, was able to get back on track. And I'm not at that place right now. I'm currently going through it. So that part kind of scares me a little bit. So that kind of has me a little bit unsure, but then again, I'm like, just remember how you felt watching Sam's video. Remember how not alone you felt, because you could understand so many things that she was saying. And you know, that's something that I've talked about, like really wanting to do with my channel and my platform, is to talk more about this and be more open about it. But sometimes it's really hard and it's really scary, especially when you are having so many emotions and thoughts in your head, it's kind of hard to open yourself up to the internet like that and be vulnerable like that. But I'm just trying to hold on to that feeling of how Sam's video made me feel. I'm just going to use the same Sigma brush. I'm just going to flip it over to the other side, and I'm going to pick up a little bit of Bang Bang, and I did also spray this with some Fix Plus also. And I'm going to put this shade more like in that inner part of my eye and kind of blend it with the darker shimmer that I put down, just for a little bit of pop. So what I did for the bridesmaids makeup, it was really similar, except I did Ambitious, and then I did Turn On, where I'm putting Bang Bang right now. To say that I'm really feeling on this eye look. I love these colors. I'm so, yes, okay, feeling it, feeling it. I'm just gonna go ahead and do my brows off camera just because it can take me a while, and I know I can get pretty chatty, but I chose out the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz, and sometimes it takes me longer to do my brows with this one because it's not my absolute favorite. Alrighty, so my brows are on. You know, like, right, like they're fine, but like it's not like a good brow day. Yeah, that's usually what happens. I did add a little bit of liner to my waterline. This is the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Pencil in Uzi. So this is kind of cool, like a cool kind of like gray, and has some shimmer in it. I just kind of want to break up all of the pink, because if I do like too much pink, it can kind of make you look a little bit sick. So sometimes you have to try to balance that out with a different shade. And then for the lower lash line, I'm just going to take the other end of the brush that comes with the palette, and I think I'm going to do a little bit of Feels first and just kind of run this on the lower lash line. But yeah, let me know if you'd want to see that kind of video from me. I've been meaning to do another video kind of on, you know, just a more like personal subject, and I had a couple things in mind, but then like as this happened, and then again watching Sam's video, I was like, I don't know, maybe that would be something good to just kind of speak up about. And then I'm going to take a little bit of Caution actually and just use the same brush and just kind of blend out that shade. Again, to make it kind of smokier, but then to kind of just lessen up the pink a little bit, just so it doesn't look too like I'm sick or, you know, have pink eye or something unflattering like that. Yeah, I feel like this is just enough of a neutral color, because either that or I was going to do the really deep brown and Privacy, but I was afraid that would be too dark. And then for the inner corner, I'm just going to pick up just a little bit more of Bang Bang and kind of hit the inner corner with this one. I think I'm going to leave the brow bone blank for this look. For mascara, I chose out this one from Molly Beauty. This is the Smoky Mama Mascara. So I'm going to add this to the top and bottom lashes. I'm just going to try to use this up through the month. It's not a favorite of mine, but I think it's okay. But I'm just going to try to get this used up because I do know that I need to toss it pretty soon. Alrighty, I feel like I like the mascara. It got a little clumpy in some areas, but I think that looks pretty good. So eyes are done. For my highlight, I chose out the Charlotte Tilbury Bar of Gold palette. I just did my highlight declutter, so if you haven't seen that, I will link it down below. So a lot of my highlights I really like in my collection. This is one that I don't absolutely love, so I thought it would be a good one to pull out. So I'm going to go ahead and try this one. I'm just going to mix these two shades together, and I'm going to use my Sigma F03 for this and apply it to my cheekbones. More good things though, spring is officially here. That's a positive. We've had some really nice days, like I've been able to take Aries out for a W. Can't say the word because she's right here and she'll get excited. But I've been able to take Aries out, had some flip-flops on. That was pretty fun. But then like there's snow in Iowa the day that I'm filming, so that's kind of weird. So it's not like our weather hasn't totally got on board yet with the whole spring thing, but like we have nice moments that, you know, make you pretty excited. So that's awesome. Baseball is back. I'm a huge baseball fan. I'm a huge Cubs fan. So I've been very excited that baseball is back. So, you know, there's some good things happening here too. Spray my face before I did mascara, which I typically like to do, but I still want to spray my face. I chose out the Colourpop All-Star Face Setting Spray, mostly because I can't really remember what I thought of this, which is not great. So I'm gonna go ahead and spray my face. So for my lip options, I do have a lip liner, but then for my lipsticks, I have a Fenty Beauty Uncuffed and then Pat McGrath 1995, which I'm pretty sure I kept calling it 1993 in yesterday's video, so there's that. I think I'm gonna go with Pat McGrath. Alright guys, so this is the final look here for my Try to Get Ready With Me using products from my April Shop My Stash. I'd love to know what you think down below because I've been really into these monochromatic looks. I think everything went really well. I've noticed that my under eyes do look almost just like a little bit off color. I'm not sure if it's the concealer or if it's the powder. The Colourpop powder is in the shade light. It's not translucent. So I'm thinking it could be that, but I know that when I was using that powder, I did use it to set my under eyes. So I don't know, I'm gonna have to try out the concealer and the powder separately and see which one is doing that because I just feel like it's a little bit off colored on my under eyes. But everything else I really do like, except for my brows, but I never really have a good brow day. But I really like how the eye look came out. I'm liking the one and done foundation on my skin, and yeah, I don't really have any other complaints other than just like those few little things there. But I'd love to know what you thought about today's video. Again, let me know if you'd want to see that kind of Chatty Get Ready With Me in the future here, and I could definitely film that. I hope that you guys have an amazing April. I hope my April starts turning around here real quick, but I hope that you guys have a fantastic April. Thank you so much for watching. Other than that though, if you guys enjoyed this video, I hope that you'll give it a thumbs up. I hope that you also consider subscribing before you go, and I'll catch you guys in Sunday's video. Bye.